If you have a video editor and you're struggling with managing them, and maybe they're really, really good at what they do, they're just not turning videos in on time, maybe the quality's not there, whatever it is, I'm gonna talk to you about the ways that I manage my video editors every single day. I have multiple full-time video editors on my team and have done this for over 10 years. So I'm gonna give you the secrets and the things to know, or maybe you're in the market to hire a video editor and you're thinking, how do I actually manage them correctly and make sure that they're doing their job to the best of their ability and performing really well for me? Well, I'm gonna answer those questions for you here today. So for those of you who don't know, I'll give a little bit of context without belaboring this way too much, but I own a media agency that does social media, video content, podcasting, YouTube management for real estate investors. We work specifically with real estate investors that are teaching other people how to invest in real estate. We basically manage their video content in a nutshell, in a sense of podcasting, YouTube, social media, all that good stuff. And when it comes down to it, I've been in this space for over 13 years now, and I've been in the media space with that even longer than that, even going back into high school. I've been around video editing for a very long time. And there's a lot of things I've learned. I've worked with lots of video editors. I've been, of course, a video editor myself. I've edited probably close to 20,000 videos or something like that. It's been crazy. Premiere Pro actually does log the amount of projects that you have, and it lost track for me. So that being said, I have worked with quite a few video editors. I've worked with about 50 other video editors in my lifetime, both managing them, hiring them for other people and that sort of thing, interviewing, training, all of that. And so there's been a lot of things that I've been able to kind of come up with that really establish a video editor performing well for you. And ultimately, that's really important, because if you're going to have somebody edit video for you and then put it out for you, that person is basically representing you and your brand on your behalf, regardless of what you're saying in the video, because they can make you look good and they can also make you look bad. So you want to make sure that they're going in the right direction for you. Some of the main things that I look at. Number one, what I tell my video editors, I actually have my training up here, so I'm gonna go through a lot of it. When I'm onboarding a new video editor, I put them through a pretty rigorous training. And it's important to make sure that we do this, because they have a lot more responsibility than just editing videos. If they're pulling clips for me, or they're contextualizing a video for social media, I have other videos about this on my YouTube channel, talking about pulling good clips that are high value, they have a good hook, they end with a complete thought, all that kind of thing. That's important, and that's part of my video editor's job. Not just adding B-roll, not just clipping, not just adding captions. There's a lot more to it. So my expectation level is much different than just editing video, essentially. So the number one thing that I point out to my video editors is I tell them all the time, treat the client like you are the client. Now, obviously, I work with clients. You may not be working with clients. You may just be having a video editor work for you. But I would tell the video editor, treat the videos that you're editing like they are your videos. And that puts a whole different mind space for a video editor when they're starting to work on videos. It's a lot more intentional. It's a lot more purposeful when they're pulling clips. It's a lot more purposeful when they're adding B-roll into a video or adding captions into the video. It's really important for them to get in that headspace, because if they don't, they're just going to go through mindlessly and rip out all the videos they're supposed to do and then wipe their hands clean and be done with it for the week. And you don't want them doing it. You don't want them having that type of attitude when they're editing your videos, because that stuff's going to go out. That's your marketing. That's your brand. That is you. And it's important to make sure it's at standard and at a really high quality. So I'm not going to go through and talk about like what softwares they're supposed to be using and how they're supposed to like add captions and stuff like that. They should already know all that stuff. That stuff should already be there if you're hiring somebody. They should have the experience. They should have the skill to be able to edit videos, clip videos, add captions, all that kind of thing. So we're going to bypass all of that. I'm looking more along the lines of, actually the execution of it, right? So the main things that I tell my video editors their job is number one, it's editing high value clips. Now, a lot of the clients that we work with, we're actually pulling clips from long form content. So maybe they have a podcast, they have webinars, they have speaking engagements, they have videos that go out on YouTube that are 5-10 minutes long, and we're going to be pulling 2-3 clips out of that are going to be under 45 seconds, under 60 seconds, or whatever it is. So their number one job is finding good, valuable clips, which I have another video on where you can go watch that, and I talk about pulling good value clips, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But it's their job to find a good hook for that clip, make sure it's contextual and delivers value throughout the clip, and ends on a complete thought. It's important for them to look for those things. I don't have somebody on my team. I know a lot of people do. They'll have somebody on their team that are actually sitting there time stamping where they want their video editor to go through. To me, that's a waste of time. I want my video editor to know what to look for and what value to be able to maintain throughout the video. And if they can't do that, then I don't want them to edit my videos because they are in control of what the output is. So it's important to make sure that they are going through that themselves. So it might require you to train them. If you're in a specific industry, it might require you to train them about the industry a little bit. When I onboard a new video editor, I'm teaching them about real estate and specifically sometimes other asset classes if they're going to be working with a client like that, because I want them to know what to look for when they're pulling clips. That's very, very important. So that's the number one thing. Number two is obviously to create and edit high engaging videos. I want the videos to be engaging. I want them to have a lot to them. I want them to have, some sort of valuetainment to it so that people are going to retain their attention on the video and that sort of thing. Now, obviously delivering value in the first place is going to help with that. Having a good hook at the beginning of the video is going to help with that. But now you're adding captions. Now you're adding B-roll, relevant graphics and overlays and sound effects and stuff like that. That's secondary, right? That's what their primary job would be after that. Another thing that's kind of like, you can't really put a marker on this, but it's think outside the box. I want my editors to be on the lookout to not just edit every single video the exact same way. I want videos to look different. I want them to try new things that maybe aren't going to be, just repetitive all the time, where it's just a template at all times. Like maybe we're putting out 2 videos a day for a client and every video looks the same. I want them to think outside the box and make things look a little bit different so that it feels fresh, it feels valuable, and it doesn't feel like it's going to get monotonous. That's really important for me as well. The next things are a lot more accountability centered. So obviously, if I have clients that I'm working with, if you have videos, let's say you're going to be putting out a video a day on social media. Well, you have to have those videos in order to be able to publish them, right? So that means that they're going to theoretically have to be turned in at a certain time for you to be able to get them published. So on-time videos is extremely important. Set a time, set a day and time for your video editor. You have to turn all of your videos in for the week on this day and time, whether that's every Monday at 8 a.m. or every Friday at 6 p.m. I don't care what it is. Set that for them, and you got to make sure that you're holding them accountable to that. And if they aren't meeting those deadlines, they need to be punished for it in some way, whether that's a strike, or maybe it's a 3-strike system and then it's a fireable offense at that point, or it's a bonus system, however you want to hold your team member accountable, it's up to you. But it's very important to make sure you do hold them accountable to that, because one of the biggest issues with creatives is it's a 3-headed monster. They're perfectionists, they have no sense of times, and they're going to procrastinate. And so if you don't have those timelines set in place, they're not going to turn them in on time. Now, another thing, according to this, is going to be processes and systems. We use Trello for our project management, which we like the pipeline system, not the calendar system, which we could do a whole nother video on that. But the pipeline system allows us to keep track of what videos are coming through the pipeline as they're getting approved for each stage of our pipeline, essentially. And if a video editor is supposed to deliver 7 videos for this client this week, but there's only 5 in there, we know it automatically 2 days before the deadline. So we're bugging them about it. Get your videos in. Get your videos in. And it's important for them to follow those processes to get their videos turned in correctly. And they're utilizing the system. So systems would be communications, right? So if we're commenting on a Trello card and says, hey, the caption on this time mark was spelled incorrectly, please correct it. If they don't check those comments, then they're never going to see the correction that needs to be made before the video. So then it's going to clog everything up at that point. So they have to be able to communicate through that system, and that's for you to set up as well. So the last part of this to me is quality. So they got to make sure that they're pulling quality clips, they're editing high quality clips, like they're putting out the output is actually a really good high quality clip. But in addition to that, obviously, if you're adding captions, the captions, it's just inevitable. You're going to have mistakes on captions. The software that you're using to transcribe the video is not going to be 100% accurate. You're going to have a instead of an an, or a u instead of a to. There's going to be those kind of mix-ups that happen, but it's on my video editor to get those corrected. That being said, when my video editors are editing hundreds of videos on a weekly basis, they're going to have a couple of things that come through where it's going to need a revision. So we have a quality control system where we have a manager that comes in, she quality checks every single video that goes through, make sure that every single caption is spelled correctly. And sometimes things slip through the cracks and then we get them fixed, but it's going to happen. So make sure that your video editor is focused on quality, making sure that they keep those number of corrections very low, because if they have to edit a video over again, then you're paying for that video over again, and you don't want to get into a match with that. So make sure you're keeping an eyeball on that. With that being said, that's basically how you would manage a video editor. In my experience, I've only had maybe 1 or 2 video editors in the last 10 years that I had to turn over because they weren't working out for us from a performance standpoint. I've had to part ways with video editors because of lack of work or whatever, but there's performance issues is very, very rare in my business, in the video editors that we work with, because we hold them to that. And the last part of that I would add on would be, and this could be a bonus tip, training. Make sure, even if you're not doing the training yourself, make sure that you are getting them training, because this video editing, it does change frequently. The landscape of video editing changes all the time. We actually just switched over from editing most all of our videos from Premiere Pro into CapCut for the pulling the clips situation. We want to make sure that we're staying up to date on that, and CapCut helps a lot with that. And we just made that switch where most of my video editors have been using Premiere for 10 plus years. And now we're moving over to this new system. We're holding them accountable to that, but we're also improving the system itself to make it more efficient, allow them to do their job better. And then ultimately they're going to perform so much better than what they were doing before. And even though we think that they're rock stars as it is, they can become even bigger rock stars and do even better at their job. One of our core values is innovation. So innovating their positions and their work and all that sort of thing is very important to us. So hopefully that helps somebody today. If you are in the market for looking for a video editor, I'll give you a shameless plug since you watched my video all the way through. We do that. If you are not a real estate investor, we could still help you in some capacity. So make sure you do reach out and direct message me. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook, Josh Culler. I am verified, so you can send me a direct message there. Say you watched your video, you watched this video, and that you had some questions or whatever. If you do have further questions, make sure you leave a comment below about video editing or managing video editors, and I'd be happy to answer those for you. Like the video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.